So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take your photograms. They could be either digital photograms that you did or actual photograms that you made in the darkroom and put them into a layout so that one version is a negative and the other version is a positive. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in Photoshop or Photopea, and I'm actually going to open up a brand new document. So we're going to go to File, New, and then I like to go to, in Photopea, you have the option to go to the Photo tab, and you'll see different document sizes. 8 by 12 is probably going to be a good size to use. And if you're in Photoshop, you could just key in your dimensions with your height and your width. I would definitely recommend keeping the DPI at 300. And I would title my work ahead of time in Photopea if you can. Photoshop, you will be able to go File, Save As, and then enter your title then. So actually, you can do it in Photoshop. You can actually title it ahead of time too. I forgot. So this is going to be called Negative Positive Layout, and I'll just abbreviate it, Neg Pos Layout, and I'm just going to put my name in there, Miss I. And then I'm going to hit OK or Create. So I have this empty layout that I'm going to drag my pictures into, and then I'm going to open up my first negative by going to File, Open. And as my example, I am just going to go to the photography shortcut folder where I have, let's see, some sample pictures. And I'm going to use actually Man Ray's photogram as my example. Yeah, so here we go. If you have pictures that are in Google Drive, you will definitely have to download your pictures from Google Drive first and then probably retrieve them out of your downloads folder here. But I have my folder or my image ready to go in my sample pictures, so I'll get that open. Now, if you guys were printing in the darkroom and you have 5x7s or you have smaller pieces of paper 3x5, because I cut these in half, they should easily fit into this 8.5 by or 8 by 12 document that we made. This one I might have to shrink down, and we've used some of these techniques to resize layers before. That would be free transforming, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, in both Photoshop and Photopea, you should be able to click on your background layer, drag it over, touch the tab of the new file that you created, and it should drop in. So I'm going to just make sure I'm in the Move tool, which is the top arrow tool, and drag this into position. Now I could rotate these if I want to. In Photopea, I believe you're going to go to the image menu and transform, and you can actually rotate whatever layer you happen to be highlighted in. So it's image, transform. If I want to rotate this 90 degrees, actually that's actually rotating the whole canvas, so that's a possibility too. If you guys actually want to, I'll go back a step backwards. If you want to actually just rotate the layer that you dropped in both programs, it's usually the free transform command under the edit menu, or just regular transform will give you the options to rotate very specific directions like 90 clockwise or counterclockwise. So there we go. That's just the layer rotated. Now I can fill my space a little bit bigger. And again, that would be going to edit and free transforming, because it's going to give you your bounding box. I'm going to hold my shift key and just move my corner arrows out if I want to resize it. So in these layouts, you want to keep enough room to actually have two images in here. So I'm just going to fill half the page basically. I tend to keep a white border around my work. You can fill up your space a little bit bigger if you want, but I'm definitely keeping room in this bottom half so that I can then make a copy of what I have here and place it as a second layer underneath. So when I'm happy with resizing, I'm going to click the Enter button to get rid of that bounding box. And there's several different ways you can make copies of your layers. You can either click on them and drag them to the new layer button, which is here. It's a square, and it will make a copy of your background. Or if you're clicked on the layer that you want to copy, the key command is Control J. That also copies whatever layer you're highlighted in. The thing to keep in mind is, even though I have the copy, we can't see that it's there yet because the copies will go in the exact same spot. Therefore, I'm going to grab my Move tool, then I'm going to bounce into the second layer here, and I'm just going to click and drag this second copy into position. So now we have two copies. They're both negative. We want to reverse one of them. That's called inverting, and you can get that by going to the image menu and the adjustments, and you should be able to invert. Notice the key command is Control I for inverting. You could also do that depending on which layer you want to invert. So now I have my positive on the bottom and my negative on the top. One other thing I like to do with these is, let's say I want to add color to these. Then I can go to my adjustment layers here and potentially go to photo filter, which is going to add a blanket of color over everything. So grabbing photo filter, as you can see, it put a warming filter over that. The warming filter is the default photo filter, but when you click on the color picker, you can of course really change whatever hue you want. So if I want magenta, I can go with that. I have to okay it. And it might be at 25% density to start, which just gives you like a tint of color everywhere. But if you want to intensify your color, you can bring your density up. And now I have a magenta photogram showing negative positive. So in Photopea, remember, you're going to go to File, Save as PSD. That is going to end up in your Downloads folder. And if I just check out my Downloads folder now, I can see that I have my negative positive layout with my name in it. And this is a file that I can then drag into my Google Drive. Okay, so we want to do a number of these and hand them into Google Drive. And that's that. So have fun with your editing and picking your colors.